Hi, so in this video, we're going to learn how to take partial derivatives of multivariable functions. So on the top, I wrote a multivariable function f of x comma y is equal to 3x minus x squared times y squared plus 2 times x to the third times y. So the first question is asked, take the partial derivative of f with respect to x. So to do this, we consider y as a constant as we take the derivative with respect to x. So the derivative of 3x with respect to x would be 3 minus x squared. So the derivative of x squared is 2x. So we'd multiply 2 times x, and then we keep y as a constant, y squared as a constant right here. And then 2x to the third times y. So the derivative of x to the third would be 3 times x squared. So 3 times 2 is 6 times x squared, and then we would keep the y constant as well. So now let's do the same thing, but find the partial derivative of f with respect to y. So this would be, 3x, the derivative of 3x would just be 0 because it is considered a constant. And then we have negative x squared times y squared. So this would be negative 2 times x squared times y. And then we have 2x to the third times y. So 2x to the third would be considered a constant, and the derivative of y is 1. So we would add 2x to the third. So in the next example, we have f of x comma y is equal to the natural log of x times sine of x squared times y. So we also have a new notation. So this is the partial derivative of f with respect to x. That's what the symbol just means. So first we're going to be taking the partial derivative of f with respect to x. So to do this, we differentiate with respect to x, and we consider y to be a constant. So since we're multiplying two things together, we have to use the product rule. So we have the natural log of x times the derivative of the second expression. So this would be cosine of x squared times y. And then we also have to differentiate the inside. So the derivative of x squared times y with respect to x would just be 2x times y because the derivative of x squared is 2x times y. And then to finish the product rule, we can take the derivative of the natural log of x would just be 1 over x. And then we multiply by sine of x squared times y. So that's it for the first problem. And now we can move on to the partial derivative of f with respect to y. So in this problem, we do not need to use the product rule since we are considering x to be a constant. So we can multiply ln of x and now take the derivative of the second expression. So we do have to use the chain rule. So this would be cosine of x squared times y, and then we have to take the derivative of the inside. So the derivative of x squared times y with respect to y would just be x squared. And that's the final answer.